Alright, before we get started, just as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay? Alright, so let's get straight into it. Look, as always, if you have any questions from anything from last week, please take this opportunity to type those in, and as I come across them, I will answer them for you. Okay? Alright, so what we have this particular week is after such a big news week last week, ending with non-farm payrolls, which saw the markets move 100 odd pips in one direction, only for an hour later to change its mind and move back down and then move back up again. The markets did get moved a lot by data last week. This week is a fairly light week in terms of economics data releases. And the major talking point, I guess, from what happened last week is the non-farm payroll job numbers. Now they came in at 215,000. The forecast was 220, so they weren't too far off the mark. But it was a very, very strong number as far as most economists and analysts globally see it, which has pretty much firmly placed a high probability that in September there may be an increase to that interest rate that they've been talking about for quite some time. I guess there's a little bit more data to come out for the remainder of the week, and that may influence that decision. But most are now starting to think that it definitely has got a chance to happen. Now, when we have a look at some charts, we'll delve into it a little bit more. Now, one of the things that basically happened was the job numbers kind of, they were strong, but I guess based on the forecast, they were a little bit disappointing, but not by much. But yet the US dollar gained so much strength and then lost that strength. Now, a lot of that is primarily the retail reaction to what was going on, a lot of profit taking, and really it has set up some really nice opportunities for us to basically see if we can take advantage. And when we look at our charts, we'll have a look at that as well. Question being asked, was expecting the Euro USD down after last week's data, but up again. How do I see that? We'll talk about that when I get through to the Euro, okay? And I guess from the Euro side of the fundamentals, it's been a relatively quiet week for what we've come to get used to on the Euro. Negotiations with Greece are actually going really, really well. They're all on track, and that payment, which is due, the number that just rings in my head is the 20th of August. So I can't confirm it, but I think it's around about then. If anybody knows it, please type it in. It's all on track. Okay, there hasn't been any hiccups. Greece has not been playing any funny games. They've been playing ball, so to speak, and it looks like that treaty will get signed and that payment will be made. So, which basically signals good things for the euro recovery. The monetary easing policy that they took on, I think we're about 6 months into it or 7 months into it. I'm just going off the top of my head here. It seems to be working. It is doing what the economy wanted it to do. So I guess the euro is starting to find its feet. So you got to remember that the euro came off significant levels, and we were threatening that parity barrier. Now everything goes back. If the euro basically does get itself back together, it's going to come down to the US side of that pair, whether will they increase the rates or not, and how that plays out. All right, so we'll have a look at those charts. I guess the currency to look out for, the currency pair that's most going to be impacted by data this week, we do have unemployment claims and retail sales for the US on Thursday. Okay, we have an FOMC member speaking. Now, this one here is a bit of a wild card because a member of the FOMC, they will give us the market will look at this speech as an indicator as to how they are leaning towards that interest rate decision come September. Okay, so this one here can be a bit of a wild card. Okay, so it's not just pure a raw number, it's basically an indication, the wording and what they say. All right, the only other one is GBP. So I think for this particular week, the one that's going to be affected the most purely based on raw data and numbers is going to be the GBP USD. Okay, so that's the one to look out for. Now on the GBP front, I haven't said anything about the pound. They were a little bit disappointed with the Bank of England in the, I guess, the tone of their basically only one member of the committee voted for an increase in the rates. Now, they were expecting that it was going to be a closer thing. 1 out of 9 was very, very disappointing. The tone of the speech that accompanied that was more of delay, although everybody does believe that they will be the second major central bank to increase rates, and it's looking like it's going to happen in 2016. The market has not interpreted the information that strong as yet, and they would have liked for a more decisive move or decision or indication and something a little bit more firm. So that's why the GBP has been falling away. All right, and a couple of data elements last week didn't quite hit the mark as well, so we've pulled back a little bit on that one as well. All right, so let's move on. Let's have a look at our charts. Let's see what we have and let's see what we can find for this week. Let's start off with our Aussie dollar. Okay, now the first thing that I want to say with the Aussie dollar is I believe that the last trade that we had going was this one here. Everybody should be out of that trade by now. So if we hit the targets, we hit them. You're hanging in there. Depending where you move your stop to, you've been stopped out for the second part of that trade, but that one's over. All right, so that one is definitely gone. Last week we plotted out thinking that we may start to consolidate into this region here somewhere. But what happened was we got this big candle, okay, and it kind of hinted at going back up. It did present itself one opportunity. I don't know if anybody took this one, because what we had said was that we were looking for pullbacks and entries back into the market. All right, we got the big pullback there and we got an inside candle set up there. Did anybody take that trade? If you did, you're still in that trade. That trade is not over for you yet. We're still hanging in there, barely, but the trade is still not over. Did anybody take that one? The only thing that I didn't like about that setup is that this candle was just so big, it's just like a knee-jerk type reaction. Okay, by the looks of it, nobody did. So when did this happen? This would have been Tuesday. That's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So this would have been Tuesday. Okay. All right. So if anybody did, you're still in this trade. Okay, Phil was already in that trade, probably from a T chaser. Okay, so your entry would have been there in this direction. Your stop is over there somewhere, which basically means the trade is still going for you. The trade is still not over. All right. Now, if no one has taken it, okay, the things to look out for, there's two things that I can see, and I'm a little bit confused. Now, the Aussies had this great run. For it to continue to go down, we're going to need a firmer indication from the US side that they're ready to step it up. Okay, I think we need that to break through this level. Okay, we've already got a lot of things favoring this move. The commodities haven't been doing that well. China hasn't been doing that well. So there's a lot of reasons to be a seller. I still don't want to be a buyer of the Aussie dollar. Okay, so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a nice entry, and if I get an entry, I will take that sell again. Now, I don't mind because I've taken quite a lot of these along the way. What I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for some kind of a setup there. Now, if anybody's in a trade, I'd prefer it not to go over that level so that that trade works out for you. But if we're not in a trade, I would like some kind of a setup around about here and then hit this trade down again. Okay, if I see it, I will take that. Now, let me just show you something else, because some of us like the technicals and you might like this as well. If I step into a 4-hour chart, what I noticed was starting to get a bit of a channel right here on a 4-hour chart. Okay, let me get rid of this line here so I don't confuse anybody. This might make a bit more clarity. It's definitely a channel. We got 1, 2, 3, and we've got either this one or this one as our 4 touches. So the channel looks on the money. Okay, so in an ideal world, I would like to take this trade because I'm really preferring the short trades. Okay, so I would like to take it up there. So what I'm trying to say is this: if this level does not hold, okay, and it goes up beyond that, then look for a setup either on your 4-hour chart into the channel this way, or you can do it off straight out price action on your daily chart. Okay, this is the trade that I would be most happy with. Now, the other thing that I like about this, if it's around here, it starts to get very close to the 75 level, which is a big round number, and it just gives me an extra nice warm feeling about the whole trade. Does everybody understand what we're trying to do over here? Yep, we're all with it? Great. So this is the one that we're really, really looking for. All right. This little trade here would have been difficult to take. All right, because you would have had to step into a 4-hour chart. You're in the middle of congestion. It's not really the most ideal. Sorry about that. It's not really the most ideal trade to basically set up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to wait it out, okay, and see if we can get a hit over there. The only thing that could happen, and which would be disappointing, is if this just comes down like this and just draws away from us. All right, we're all clear on that one? All right, so let's move on. I'll put that back onto there. Let me just draw a quick little line so that I remember what I'm trying to do. I think into my 4-hour chart. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, that's what we would like to happen. Okay, let us move on and let's have a look at the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD daily chart. A couple of things I want to show you. I saw this, the Euro USD, part of me still wants to be bearish. I think we're still in a downtrend. Okay, when I look at that, I still feel this kind of movement, even though the euro has steadied up a little bit. A lot of this depends on the US as well. What I'm thinking here is I can't help but think about these triangles that go like this and then do this. So this has got me into thoughts. Okay, so whenever I get confused, what's happening here is my fundamentals and my technicals are saying one thing, and my fundamental is leaning me towards the other side. Okay, so whenever that happens for me, what I like to do is I just trade what I see. All right, meaning I ignore the fundamentals. So if I'm going to ignore the fundamentals, the trade that I'm favoring is the one that I've just drawn over there. So I'm looking for reasons to see if I can buy this. All right, so let me show you one other reason that I found. if I draw that extra line in there and just zoom out a little bit so that, oops, just leave it there. Let me get rid of this one. This support line seems to be quite strong. Okay, we've had 3 touches and we've had a 4th touch over there. So based off this line and this line here, I'm happy to take a trade off the Euro USD. Now what that means is, in theory, okay, if I get rid of these 2 lines and I trade straight out price action, let me just zoom in so that you can see what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second. So if I just ignore the 2 lines that I've drawn there, if I was to do that and trade straight off these 2 moving averages, I could get an inside candle set up here to go over there. Okay, if I get that set up and it happens here, just there, I'm happy to take that. Okay, because I'm respecting this line over here. All right, but I do feel that probably what's going to happen is we're just going to break through, and then the trade is either going to be just like that or like that. All right, so these are the ones that I'm basically respected there. Question being asked, a 4-hour chart. We took a trade last week. I lost my Euro chart, Rav. I do remember something. Let me see if I can find it. Who took it was some kind of a triangle, right? Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can find it. Let me get rid of this bottom line. Was it something like that? Let me get rid of this top line. And I think it might have been across there or something along these lines. Was that the pattern? Yes. Okay, and we got a short. Okay, so we got triggered in here. Anybody take it? Who took the trade? And you should still just about be in on that trade. Anybody other than Rav? Okay. All right. If you took that trade and you stayed in and you're still in, so we did that one off a 4-hour chart. Okay, so I lost my charts and I had to rebuild. I just lost this particular chart last week, so apologies for that. Okay, I do recall. All right, so in theory, if you're trading the proper triangle, look, your stop's got to be the other side, but you could go there as well. All right, go to the last swing high. On the trade. Now, if we're still in, what we're still hoping for is that we can still pull down. So let me go into that daily chart now, and all I'm doing is I'm just moving the lines a little bit, and I'm using more reference points there. So if we do start to swing down, this trade becomes you're already in at a very, very good price, which basically means that we can break through there. Okay, this line is very, very strong. Okay, this one's very, very strong. So if this one breaks, we could make a strong move downwards. So I think the best one for this one, because we're so much in the middle right now of these two regions, is I really want to wait for a break of either direction. Now, if you already took last week's trade, the 4-hour one, well, then you're still in. So nothing's changed for you. Just play that one out. Otherwise, we'll wait and see if we can break the bottom or the top line. Okay? So that's pretty much what we have for the Euro USD for this week. Let's move on to the GBP USD. Okay, the GBP, that top level, look how well that level held. Remember, I marked that little region up there, and the market went up, tested many times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nearly 6 times, and then shot down. Now, that's a daily chart we're looking at there. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see that we are right now at the bottom of the channel. Okay, so it's definitely a channel. We've got the touches, so it's valid. So we may, at the moment, it's looking like an inside candle. We need to wait for tomorrow morning and let's see if we can get a trade in that direction. Okay, so this one is still in play. Well, it's just come into play right now, I should say. And we're looking for an inside channel set up back up. This one's pretty straightforward. It's looking really nice. If this candle ended where it is right now, really like these little ones because the risk is not too huge. That would be the risk there roughly. And you only got to get to here, and that's your 1-to-1 ratio. And then if you get to there, that's your 2-to-1. Okay, but we need to see how this candle finishes to see how big that candle is, etc., etc. Okay, Romy's asking, is it a T chaser? I haven't looked. Let me just change my profile. Give me 1 second and I'll check. Okay, who did last week's class? Who did Thursday's class? Is that a T chaser entry this morning? So this is today's candle. So that means that this morning we should have inspected this candle. So the question is this candle here a setup trade? Great, good stuff. Everybody's saying yes, it is. Okay, so in the Monday sessions, I'm not. I'm trading. I do a lot of price action and a lot of because I'm mixing the fundamentals of price action and pattern trading are the three main methods that I use. Okay, if you're a T-chase trader, that is a setup for you. And if you jump in right now, you'll get it in at virtually the same price as this morning. Okay. On the plus side, something that will give you more confidence, if I go back to my other profile, give me 1 second, and bring that chart up again. If your T-chaser works, what's going to mean is that we're going to break through there and it really opens up that trade for you. Okay? So, this is why it's very, very important in your trading rules to stipulate what method you trade. All right? And if you get, because sometimes one method will say one thing, another method will say something else. So based on channels and price action, all I'm saying is that I could get a setup tomorrow to go that way. But I don't know yet, because what might happen today, there's still a whole lot of trading to happen. This candle might just come down, and as soon as it gets lower than that, that's it. That trade that I'm looking for tomorrow, that won't be there. That'll be a cross, and that just basically locks in that T-chaser as well. All right? So you need to play it out as per your trading rules. All right, so they're both. If you're short on a T-chaser, great, just stay on it and just play it out. Okay. On a plus side, this where your fractal is, that's very very strong resistance. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's have a look at gold. Gold just keeps trading in this little region, so this is getting stronger and stronger. I still like this. I still like that when it breaks. There's nothing else I can say about that. That's just looking like classic breakout. It's a really nice pattern. All right, we just have to hope that it breaks down so that we can actually take advantage of that trade. All right, so nothing else on that one. It's pretty straightforward, and we just got to play it out. For those who are new, what I'm talking about here is this is what we call a classic flag pattern. It's inverted, it's upside down, and the way that you trade it is this bit here is called the flagpole, and typically they break down in this direction the same distance as that flagpole. That's how you trade them. All right. So we'll leave that one alone. We're just still waiting. US yen. Okay, US yen. This is a trade that broke my heart last week. Got a really nice setup. Stayed in the trade for a few days. Entry's about there. Stop is there. 1-to-1 hits finally at about there. But I got out of the trade early and I missed out. So for those of you who took this trade, your T1, you've hit your first target, and if you've moved your stop to this level, you're still in the trade for the second half of the trade. Okay? Now, if we are not, there was a T chaser entry there on Thursday, I believe. So if you entered there, you're a little bit down on the trade, but you're still in. There's your stop. You may get a price action entry tomorrow out of these two candles. We could get an inside candle. Let's say this candle ends up finishing like that with a wick there. As an example, I'll just try to draw it in a bit better. Like that, inside candle, then basically you trade the break on the following day. This setup looks really good. I still like the US yen. I've got one position that I've just been holding for a while, but with my second position, I keep taking these trades like this one here, and I keep taking a nibble and coming back out. So if this one sets up tomorrow, I'm happy to go again. All right, so out of these two, I'm happy to go again. I've got the T-chaser behind me, and I kind of really want to be in this trade when I break that top. I think it's going to be a fast movement once we can get through that level. And also, there's 125 level has been giving a bit of putting up a bit of resistance on that one. Let me have a quick look on a 4-hour chart, see if there's anything else. Okay, on a 4-hour chart, um, that's who likes that channel. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's definitely valid. What do we think, guys? Yeah, we like it. Okay, great. So let's try and trade it then. Oh, what a bummer. Look, we didn't get a setup right here. Um, let's see how we can play into it. Give me 1 second. Oh, look, it didn't give us a price action entry setup, but that was a 61.8 level retracement when I went from here all the way to there and then back down. That's a 61.8 retracement, which was right on the channel as well, but we weren't there when that happened. Look, technically there's no trade here, all right, but if anybody's aggressive, for anybody that's aggressive on it, it would be worth, thinking about an entry right now where we are and just place your stop just there. Okay, so if there's anybody out there that's aggressive and is looking for a trade, that wouldn't be the worst trade that you ever take. Okay, so we're on the upswing. We've just touched. We're not too far away from the channel. just make sure you get out at 1-to-1, which is roughly about there, so that you can basically take something out of it. All right. Technically, I don't have a clean entry. What I do have is a bit of a body engulfing right over there with a couple of long wicks, so it's technically not the best trade. So again, if you're a little bit aggressive and you like it, you could get an entry out of that one right now. Okay. All right, so Bijan's asking, is it a bullish engulfing? Yeah, it kind of is, Bijan. So it kind of is a bullish engulfing right there. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So, and if you were trading that, your entry would have been right there. We're almost at that price right now, so it'd be worth thinking about. All right. Let's carry on. Let's have a look at the euro yen. Okay, euro yen, we painted this triangle and we kind of threatened, but we didn't go. We've just coming out now. But you know, like when you start to, the market could now easily just do this and fizzle out. Normally when you trade patterns and they break properly like that and then really go away. So when they just fizzle out to the side, the pattern's not worked and we really haven't triggered a trade. So let's just get rid of it. And let's see if we can find something else. I'm going to need to step into a 4-hour chart to see if there's anything more valid. Okay, who saw what I just saw? Anyone? It's a sideways market. Yes, Stephen, it is. What I've done is I've just drawn from an A to a B to this C, and this happens to be at the 127. And then I've gone from there, made that an A, down to here, made that a B, and this level here is 61.8, which makes that an A, B, C, D. Okay, it's a bit of an awkward one. It's like a full. Normally, what they look like is I would like to see them like this, and this one's more like where it doesn't really have much of a slant. So in theory, the only thing is it's already come down. I didn't see that. Sorry, guys. No, no, I don't want you to go short on that. Technically, the trade would have been at this level here. You go down, but it's already done that movement, so forget about it. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, it is very sideways. Can anybody see anything on the euro yen? No? Nothing? I can't. So that means if we can't see anything, let's not force it, and let's just leave it alone. Let me just draw in a bit of congestion in it so that I can come back, and there's an area that I'm interested in. I'm interested coming out of that area there. Okay, so let's see if we can leave that area and let's see if it can set something up. All right, Kiwi Dollar. All right, Kiwi Dollar is an interesting one. I drew this area in last week and I said it looks like we might consolidate, and it went up to there and it come back down and it looks like it is consolidating. Did anybody take this trade here as a double bottom in that direction? It's a bit of a tricky trade, but did anybody take it? There's a price action entry off a double bottom there. No, no one? It's not a trade that we normally take. I'm just curious, so I didn't take it. I just saw it today, and I'm looking for it. This setup over here, can anybody recognize this? It's a 3 candle setup. Yep. Anybody can anybody recognize it? It's it's one of those shooting star, evening star, or for morning star. I can't remember which one it's called, but it's a 3 candles sequence, which is basically a reversal pattern. All right. So we didn't catch that. That 3 candle sequence basically indicates more of the same. Now we've come here, we've rejected off. I still don't want to be a buyer here. So what I'm looking for is if I do get a good, if this pops back up to around about this level and we get a nice inside bar, then we're going to take the trade down again. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Um, for me to be a buyer, I don't actually want to be a buyer, not yet. Not until I get. Ooh, I want to be around about there before I even think about starting to buy again. So if we break out to the top side, all right, I'm still not interested in buying. All right, if we break out to the top side, let's say this goes like this and breaks out there, what I'm actually looking for is I'm looking for the next turning point opportunity to hit me back down. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen there. I think it's going to be closer to this there. If not these two already there, I prefer it's not these two. I want it to be a little bit higher. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Let me have a quick look on a 4-hour chart, see if there's anything different. No, there's nothing there at this stage. Okay, so let's play this one out as we said. Let's wait and see if we can push towards this top. All right, and then see if we can get an entry to go back short. All right, so that's Kiwi Dollar. Let's finally have a look at the Euro AUD. Okay, so this is the channel that we've been tracking. Um, we missed that one unless you got in with a fishing strip. I haven't really got an entry there. I'm looking for one, but I don't have one. If this goes up, what does that mean for the Aussie dollar, guys? Generally. Down, down. Good. Everybody got that right. Well done. Okay. So it's one of those that you're right there. You're right there. And do you want to take advantage of it? Something's making me think that we've touched so many times already. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's almost 7 and 8. Is it going to fail now? If the Aussie dollar has a bit of a recovery, this will break down. For some reason, unless I get the setup, which I've already missed because that was a candle there with a fractal, unless I get another candle here with a fractal on the border and gives me an entry up, what I'm looking for is I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this trade. Okay, so let me draw that trade out so that everybody knows how to trade it. So what I would be looking for is I want a candle that takes out once, first of all, it pops out of the channel and it's got to close outside of the channel. Hopefully it'll look something like this, where it closes below that level there, and then right there I jump on it. Now, if we talk about our stops, if you're trying to take the trade with the minimum stop that you possibly can, at the very least you're going to have to go beyond this high here, so I would go there at least. Okay, so that's how you would play that one out. So something, if the Aussie does have a little bit of a recovery, this should pop out and then we could take a bit of a trade down. Okay, so that's the Euro Aussie for us this week. The charts, all of a sudden, when trends start, when the fundamentals and all the hype starts to dry up a little bit, the charts start to change trends, and it starts to look a little bit different. And right now we're in a bit of transition. Okay, so our charts are not looking as good as they were, say, 4 weeks ago, that we could virtually find the trade off every single chart. Now, if you're trading the way that I trade on a Monday, which is off a 4 hour or a daily chart, and you're looking at pattern trading and price action, you're going to average maybe 3 trades a week. All right. If you look at other methods, there's more, and you want to be more interactive, there's definitely other trades in there. All right. So for this week, while you type in any questions that you may have, let me go back and let's summarize what we've done. First of all, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, we've found the channel, but we're right in the middle of that channel at the moment. And what we are actually hoping for is to go up to the channel, get a nice entry back down. Okay, that's Aussie dollar. Euro USD, we are going to track this pattern that we're looking for, and we're getting very close to the pointy end of the pattern. Okay, so we're hoping to get a break in either direction. I'll be happy with, it doesn't matter, either direction, I'm happy with it. That's Euro USD. GBP USD, we are on the fringe of a daily channel. We've only had 4 touches, so it's kind of, hopefully tomorrow we'll get a setup to go in that direction. Okay. Gold, we're still playing out this flag pattern. We just need it to drop down and break through so that we can take advantage. US yen, if you're aggressive, we could possibly enter right now based off this body engulfing setup on a channel. Okay, it's not the worst trade that you would ever take. There's lots of good reasons to be in that one. All right, but technically I do not have an inside candle setup. Euro yen in congestion, where we're going nowhere, so I need this one to play out a little bit more. Kiwi dollar, we are in the congestion. We want to look for a setup closer to there to pull back down. Finally, the Euro Aussie, let's see if we can get a nice clean breakdown. And if we can, fantastic. Okay, someone's asking me if I can have a quick look at the US CAD. Let me do that. One moment. The US CAD's been moving significantly. Where's my US CAD? Come on. Ignore the lines. These lines are not for the US, or are they? I think these lines aren't for the US CAD, but it's broken out there anyway. It's just coincidence. Okay, US CAD. We're definitely in an uptrend. It's been a huge move already. Like, let me just measure this movement. It's like 1,000 pips. Or is it 10,000? 121. It's 1,000 pips. This is one of those situations with the US CAD that if I was watching this chart regularly, like every Monday, I would have taken lots and lots of trades out of it. All right. So for me to just jump in right now, once the trend is established, I kind of try not to get involved with this chart right now. But even if I do it off a T-chaser, as some of you are pointing out for me, I had entries here, okay, which basically is made a a heap of pips there. If I look at price action type entries, there's one here. So it's an engulfing candle right there. There's another engulfing right there. So there's, I couldn't get, this is a reversal pattern, those three candles right there. So you can see that there's different opportunities to get in onto this trade. If you wanted to, if you were just brand new to this trend, we could get a setup here tomorrow. All right. Now, the only danger is that you haven't taken advantage of all these other things that it's already given us. So if you just come in right at the end, depends how you feel about that. Okay? And I'm not saying this is the end because I don't know. This could move another 500 pips, and that's the irony of trading. All right? But with the 9 pairs that I always look at, I'm always on it, and any movements that it provides, I'm able to take advantage of it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Any other questions? Anybody want me to have a quick look at something else? I've still got a little bit of time. No, we're all good? Okay, let me have a quick look at oil. Any oil traders? I haven't looked at oil for a little while. $44 a barrel. Okay. Which way is that trend, guys? Definitely down. And if you look at price action, there's a really good trade. Inside candle, that way. If you look at this one, this is a body engulfing. You would have picked that one up right there. Okay. And if you look at T Chaser, you probably would have picked up either one of this candle here or that one there. Would have been a T Chaser entry as well that would have put you into that trade. Okay, so you can see that the methods that we've looked at, when trend starts off, we can usually catch it. Okay. All right. If nobody has any others, we'll call it a day. This week, this Thursday, what I'll do is I'm going to do a class more on the basics. All right. So for the ones that are more experienced, feel free to join in if you want. But I'm gonna cover things that will more fundamentals to trading, like sizing, percentages, all the things that I just take for granted that sometimes I forget that I haven't explained. So, and I'll work my way around MT4. Some of the better features on MT4 shortcuts and all those types of things. All right. So what I urge you to do is bring in your questions ahead of time, or better still, if you can just email me your questions between now and Thursday, then what I will do is I'll make sure that I answer those questions live in the class. Okay. Um, a lot of times people that have been using MT4 for like years and years, when they come to this basic class, they leave and they go, oh, Christian, I didn't know I could do that. I could do this and all these kind of things. So I strongly urge that you attend. Email me any questions that you may want me to cover, and I will cover those on Thursday at 3:30 as always. Other than that, have a fantastic rest of the week, guys, and I'll speak to you all then. Bye for now.